Hello everyone, and thank you for joining this session where Kevin and I will discuss how AAM guides help Workday provide a world-class experience for our customers. My name is Niall Glynn and I manage a team of technical writers in Dublin. I'll be asking Kevin to talk us through our recent experience of migrating content to AAM guides and the things that we learned. Kevin, it's good to talk to you here today.
Likewise, I'm super excited to be here sharing our story with everyone. We're going to share our story of our migration to Adobe Experience Manager guides.
Great. So to get us started, can you talk to us about yourself, the team, and the content we provide?
Sure. I am the co-director of information development here at Workday. We're part of a broader organization called Information and Learning Experience. I've been in the technical writing field for many years, started off as a technical writer, and have been here at Workday since near the beginning. Our organization itself, we have over 100 writers in our organization. We also have editors, and we have a release notes team. And then part of that broader organization that I mentioned, the ILX organization, we have developers, product managers, QA, and instructional designers, and accessibility as well. As far as our deliverables are concerned, Workday is an enterprise software company, so we write about finance, HR, planning, student, that type of thing. It is complex. It's all for back office users. It requires a lot of documentation. That's why we have such a large team. Our deliverables include an administrator guide. That is our classic oldest piece of content, but we're continually updating it. We have user guides, developer guides. We do UI text, so error messages, validations, that type of thing. And we continue to do in product help as well. We're starting to do more of that. So you can check us out actually anytime at doc.workday.com.
Great. And can you give us a little bit more context around the AAM migration?
Yeah, I'd love to. So our AEM migration was our biggest project last year. We started it back last year in January, went all the way through June. So it was about 6 months worth. It was our biggest initiative of the year. Journey well worth taking. We're super thrilled we did it. What we did was we migrated our CCMS to AEM guides and our publishing platform over to AEM sites. So we have a complete system on AEM. So I'm super excited about sharing this story. I want to share what it took for that journey to happen and the lessons that we learned along the way. Also, I'd like to share some of the opportunities moving over to AEM afforded us. For example, after we went go live, we immediately did a fast follow to go do Agile publications, and I'll get more into that later in the interview. Hoping that by sharing this information, you'll gain insights that will help you on your own journey.
Great. Thanks, Kevin. So before we go any further, for context, let's play a brief video about Workday so everyone knows what our business is all about.
Business change is happening faster than ever before. New business models, new competition, new ways of working. But when you have a business system that delivers continuous innovation and a partner who's committed to your success, you can stay one step ahead. Meet Workday. Workday provides a cloud-native system with finance, HR, planning, and analysis all in one, allowing you to surface insights, respond to change, and work more efficiently than ever. How do we do it? It starts with data. We bring data in from all corners of the organization and connect it for you. Then, our dashboards distill it and distribute rich analytics to the right stakeholders. And with those analytics comes the ability to drill down, pivot, and move across all types of data. So finance can assess the current state of the business and plan what actions to take. HR can run with the plans and support the upcoming changes. When it's time to execute, we give you the agility to act. Need to reorganize your people? Want to reconfigure your processes? Not a problem. You can do just that as often as you need to, so that everyone can go where the business is going together. Staying ahead in a changing world also means operating more efficiently. That's why we deliver innovation, like machine learning, right into the system, so you can close the books faster with continuous anomaly detection, identify skills gaps to prepare for what's ahead, and deliver more personal experiences for every one of your people. All of this is just the start. With a single finance, HR, and planning system from Workday, you can change as your needs change and shape your future.
Okay, so hopefully you found that video useful. Kevin, can you tell us a bit about the team's vision? What content problems were you trying to solve with the AAM Guides migration?
Sure. I'll start with the vision. Our vision here at Workday Information Development is to transform the content experience. So we don't want to just keep our customers informed, our users informed. We want them empowered with knowledge. And we want to go beyond running the business day to day and really get innovative and take things to the next level. To do that, we need to think big. And one of the things that we also do is put the customer perspective first. By doing that, we're looking at their real world use cases, the problems that they're trying to solve, and how we can help them through our content get their jobs done using our software.
What were the customer problems we were trying to solve?
Yeah, first off, there was a fragmented customer experience. We had content published all over the place. It was a different look and feel everywhere. The content varied by type. Customers had to click around to find things. It was confusing. It was unclear to them whether they actually had the right content, the official product documentation. It was also hard for customers, as you from that example, hard for them to find the information that they needed. Often we'd even have the information, but if they can't find it, it doesn't do them any good. Also, when you have content spread around the place like that, customers find the content potentially, and then they have a lack of confidence in if they're looking at the right thing or if there's other additional content that's similar but slightly different elsewhere. So that was a couple of the problems that we're trying to solve for customers. Another one was infrequent updates. So before we did our migration to AEM, we were publishing once every 2 months. In fact, before that, we were publishing once every 6 months. So we were really excited that we got it down to 2 months, but you know what? In today's world, it just wasn't going to be good enough. We wanted to get it down even further. Content grows stale if you're only publishing infrequently, especially with the rate of change that we have here at Workday. We are also slow back in the day at responding to customer needs. Another problem that we were trying to solve for customers was just improving the whole overall experience for them.
Yeah. And what about internally? What problems were you trying to solve for our workmates?
Yeah, internally, the first thing that comes to mind is scalability. So we have this vision of how we want to innovate and transform our content, but our past tools were good, but they weren't going to get us there. They were limiting for us. There was an inflexible architecture with what we had in place before with our past tools. We felt like we were locked into various roadmaps, the roadmaps of the different products that we had. We felt that we weren't going to be able to innovate and do all of the exciting things that we wanted to do. Also, it was a bit of a dated approach that we had. We want a more modern approach, an approach that is aligned with our vision. Our 10-year-old system bottom line wasn't going to get us there, wasn't going to get us to our future state. So we created our vision, we had that in place, and we made the leap now.
Good. So can you share with us why Workday chose Adobe Experience Manager Guides?
Yeah, this hopefully you'll find interesting as well. So first off, we knew we wanted to change our CCMS on our publishing platform. We did a bunch of research. We liked what we saw in AEM Guides. It's a strong CCMS, and we love that the Adobe Experience Manager Sites is a great complement to it. It is a flexible and modern approach, which is what we're looking for, and it aligns with our vision We knew that with these products, we're going to be able to execute on our vision. Another reason why AEM, we already have a couple organizations within Workday using Adobe Experience Manager. So we already have in-house knowledge, which is fantastic, and an infrastructure in place. And we can learn from those other organizations and get support from them as well. Another thing is the seamlessness of it all. We've got everything right now on Adobe Experience Manager. Everything's built by Adobe. We don't have to worry about dependencies between different softwares. It minimizes our risks that we're taking. The last thing I'd like to mention is that they're a cloud service provider, this Adobe Experience Manager, and we are also a cloud service provider of software. Felt like we ought to be using similar products to ours.
Okay. And what are some of the benefits for our customers?
First off, there's a central landing page now for our customers. So I had mentioned earlier that we had content all over the place. We've pulled all that content into one landing page, doc.workday.com. That's the place where everybody can go now to see everything, whether it's authenticated or unauthenticated content. It's all there for all of our product documentation. So customers are confident that they're in the right spot. This is the product documentation. There's no confusion with other sites. Customers really appreciate the change. They've told us that since we've made the move. So that's exciting. We also are giving them a more cohesive experience. It's definitely easier for them to find everything. They are confident that they're in the right place. Another big thing was we are agile now with our delivery of our content, which is a big plus for customers. We are actually now publishing bi-weekly, every other week, and we can even publish on demand if need be. So this is a huge change for our customers. They're really benefiting from it. And with that, we can also get our content more in tune with the delivery of features. We have features that deliver for our major releases, but you also have features that deliver off-cycle, week over week. And we can get that content with that off-cycle delivery out there into our customers' hands much faster, which is great. Then they're able to learn and start using the functionality. We are also able to make improvements fast for customers. We don't have to wait around for a couple months. We can get those improvements in customers' hands right away. In addition to those, customers are getting a better search experience. What we've done is with Adobe Experience Manager, we're able to use our search engine of choice. We have that plugged right in. It's the same search engine that we use across our whole enterprise. And we are able to customize the facets in the search. We're able to fine tune the search. And it's really helping improve the findability of the content for our customers. There are a few other things I want to touch upon. There is the feedback. Our feedback since we've moved over to AEM has gone up tenfold. We were already getting a decent amount of feedback, but we're getting an awful lot now, which is awesome because we can respond to that feedback, and we do, and we can make those improvements right away and get them right back into customers' hands. We actually built a mechanism at the bottom of every topic where customers can click to respond and give us feedback and tell us what the problems and issues are that they're experiencing, or even complimentary ones if we've done a good job. And there is the mobile experience as well. It's a really nice, intuitive UI. It's inviting and easy to use. So that's been an improvement for customers. Plus, there's the promise of all of the future stuff that we'll be able to do with them now that we're on Adobe Experience Manager.
Yeah, great. And can you talk about Workday as an organization? What benefits did the migration bring to us?
The first thing that jumps out is a greater sense of ownership. So now that we have our own site that's dedicated to product documentation, we have control over that. We control the publications for our content. We are no longer dependent on other organizations whether it's inside or outside of our own broader organization, for those publications. For instance, we had developers that were publishing our content prior to Adobe Experience Manager guides. Now we are doing that in-house just with the writing team. So there's less dependencies. I did touch upon before flexibility and scalability. From an internal perspective, we can be innovative. We can strive toward and work toward our vision. And we know that Adobe Experience Manager and Adobe products are going to grow with us as we grow on our vision. We're confident about that. So that's exciting for us. Search is likewise beneficial for us. Again, I mentioned that we can have our engine of choice. We have a great collaboration across various organizations at Workday, our business technology organization, our Workday community, and our site. We're all working closely together, making sure that customers have a consistent search experience. And it's beneficial for us because we are delivering the best that we can there. Branching is another one that I'm excited about. Branching, this is what made Agile publications possible for us. The reason why we can publish every 2 weeks and on demand. Our writers can now write about current functionality that's being delivered here and now, and they can write about the future content that's going to be delivered months away. And they can do that simultaneously, which is fantastic. And I know Niall will be getting into that more later, so I'll save that. Translations is another benefit. With our move here, we're excited to be able to publish more content into more languages more frequently. We are currently working on refining our process within AEM. We've made some improvements already, and we're excited that we're going to be able to do even more here in the future as we continue to execute on our vision. Also, we have the benefit of a modern approach now. We're not just publishing books, we're publishing a whole knowledge portal, a whole site. We've got advanced tools that we're using, which is great because our team can learn from those advanced tools and gain skills and experience with tools that are built for today's world. Last thing I want to talk about is the partnerships. Now, I have mentioned partnerships with other organizations within Workday. That's been fantastic, sharing that knowledge because we have multiple organizations using Adobe Experience Manager products. And there is also, last but not least, the partnership with Adobe. We have a great partnership with the AEM Guides development team. They meet with us every other week to go over any issues or concerns that we have, and we talk through things. And they truly put customers first. The support organization has been fantastic as well. So we're loving that partnership.
That's great. Thank you, Kevin. And as you mentioned there, can you talk to us more about the Agile publications?
Yeah, so this has been an exciting piece that we were able to deliver right away as a fast follow. In today's world, we felt that we were behind the times, not being able to publish anytime we wanted to. So moving to an Agile publication model, implementing branching was a big deal for us. Other tools can do it, but it is really easy to do it in Adobe Experience Manager. They have an eloquent solution that is easy to use and implement. So what we did, we broke down our project, our whole AEM migration project, into work streams. We had about 10 different work streams. One of those work streams was a branching work stream. Their sole purpose was to figure out how we were going to do branching in AEM so that we can make that Agile publications happen, so we could publish anytime we wanted to. Something that we've been trying to do since the beginning, and we weren't able to do it. So what they did was they researched all the CCMSs out there. We loved what we saw with Adobe Experience Manager guides. Once we were on board with that, that team went out and they tested there's a couple different options within AEM guides for branching. They tested all the different options. As we got close to making a decision, we got in a room together and we looked at all the options. One of those options was actually what the AEM Guides team was calling hot fixes. We studied that, applied that against our use cases that we have internally for what to meet our business needs. We realized that we can use that hot fix approach for everything. Now, when we initially went with this approach, there was some manual work that we had to do. Publications were taking longer than we would have liked, but it was still possible to do it every other week. Now, we went to Adobe AEM Guides team. We shared this information with them. We shared our vision with them. They went out and built an enhancement for us and for all of us, anybody who's using AEM Guides. So now it's a click of a button. Now we actually have just 3 writers are publishing every other week, and it only takes a part of their time, about a quarter of their time every other week. So it's fantastic. They're also gaining skills. They're excited because they're gaining new technical skills, getting behind the scenes and making the publishing happen. Our managers who were doing the publications before no longer have to worry about that. Our dev team doesn't have to worry about the publications. They can focus on coding, and most of all, the customers win from it.
Okay. What do your writers have to do when branching content?
Yeah, so our writers, I think this is a really cool thing here. So our writers, I think it's pretty simple to do once they get their heads wrapped around it. What they do is they version and label content for the target publications. That's the gist of it. So they've got different versions for the different timelines. They've got stuff that's going, stuff they're working on currently, stuff they're working on for a future publication. They make sure that they apply a label to that content. And that label, for example, what we do is that labels the target publication. So what we do is like our next publication is 2024.24. That's our label. That's our target publication week. So it's clear. They apply that label to the version of the topic or the map or the image or whatever kind of asset they have. And once they've applied that label, when we go and do the publication, we grab everything that has that label. If they're working on something that's for a future publication, for instance, we publish a broader publication once every 6 months for the feature release. They apply that label. So in this case, 2024.38, they apply it to that version. The way that I like to look at it, Niall, is the version that's furthest out into the future. I call that the mainline version. And that contains all of the content that customers are going to eventually need. And then the branch is the version that our writers are working on here and now. So that is that's a starting point. They start with what the customers already have, and they start building on it from there. So for the next publication, that's only 2 weeks out. So the steps that the writers have to take are pretty straightforward. Let's say they do have the 2 timelines that are going. They start from that mainline version. They've got content that they want to publish for the next publication in 2 weeks for that 2024.24 publication. They revert to the last published, version that was published, the one that customers are looking at. And they go ahead and they make their changes. They save and version it as a new version. They apply the 2024.24 label, and they are good to go. Then an important step, they revert back to that mainline version, and then they merge all of that content back into the mainline so that the mainline version has all of the future-facing stuff and all the current stuff that they just added. So the important tip there for anybody who's ready to try this, always merge from that most forward-facing version, that mainline version that's furthest out into the future, not the branch. It's okay if you do merge from the branch version, but that starts to take on a new mainline version life of its own. Eventually, you're going to have to merge back to that forward-facing version. If anybody forgets, it's an easy fix, just to reassure you. You just revert back to the mainline version and take the furthest version out on the branch and merge that content back then, and it's very easy. One other cool thing is we can also still do hot fixes. We can publish anytime we want. For example, a couple use cases we have, let's say we publish the content and we published it too early. We can easily back that out and publish the previous version again. Another use case that we have that happens occasionally is we've published the content. In fact, this happened a couple weeks ago. Published the content, getting a lot of customer feedback. They need more depth for the information to be able to implement the feature. We add the depth, we publish it right away. We don't have to wait for 2 weeks.
Okay, great. And what about from a publishing perspective?
Yeah, so from a publishing perspective, I feel this is fairly straightforward as well. We use baselines within AEM guides. So what baselines is effectively the highest level map that you have. It's your publication. What we do here at Workday is we have a lot of different books, and those are our highest level maps, and we publish those. We have a baseline for each one of those books. So there could be like thousands of pieces of content in there. So a baseline contains all the direct and indirect content within your publication, within the scope of your publication. So the steps for publication are straightforward. You go out and you duplicate the last baseline, the baseline that has the content that's already in the customer's hands, the one that's already published on your website. Thanks to the enhancement that AEM Guides team did for us, in a click of a button, when you do that, you could specify the version label the label that you want to pull in all the versions that have that version, pull all that content in. It happens automatically. So for example, you say, I want to pull in all the content that has a 2024.24 label. It pulls it all in. You don't have to do anything. If for the topics that are already there that don't have that label, it leaves them alone. For the topics that were already there that had an older label, a version that was older, it will replace it with the new version that has the latest label that you applied. So pretty quick and easy. You just wait around for the processing to happen. There's 2 steps for the processing. First, you generate your site, and then you activate your site. So that's the publication of the site. You may also have other deliverables that you have. For instance, we have a PDF. So we generate and activate the PDF at the same time. And as I mentioned before, who's doing all of this? We've got 3 writers doing it part-time, and it's been a great.
Yep. Okay. So looking back on our journey with AEM Guides, what are your top takeaways?
Yeah, I gave this a lot of thought and talked to the team about it as well, our AEM migration project team. The things that stood out for us most, first off, working backwards. We had not been in the practice of doing this in the past. So we went out and we studied this idea of working backwards. It's basically the idea of you start with your desired outcome and you figure out what your resources are. What's the vision that you have? Where do you want to land? What is it that you're trying to achieve? You start from there, and you gotta figure out what's achievable or not. So that's why you're looking at the resources and the time frame that you have. If it's too big, you could pare back. You can do a multi-phased approach. We did a multi-phased approach. Our initial AEM go live, we aimed for an MVP, and we still continue to make improvements with other phases. So you've got that outcome that you're starting with, and then you start working backwards from there. How am I going to get there? The thing that's different from working backwards versus working forwards, if you work forward from the current state that you're at, it could be limiting to your vision. You're always building upon where you're currently at, whereas working backwards, you're building on the vision that you have and making sure that you can get there from where you're at. It frees you up. It frees your vision up, and you can innovate more and achieve more things. Another thing that really stood out for us, a lesson learned, was break things down. Break things down into smaller components. I mentioned before that we broke our project itself down into different work streams. We also broke down everybody had an assigned role on the project. And doing these two things here, with everybody having an assigned role and an assigned area of the project, they had focus, they had ownership, and they had accountability. And these are really important for running any project, but especially a big project like a CCMS migration. Another thing is have milestones. So you break it down further, working backwards, you have milestones, and then you back it up further and you have weekly goals, and you back that up further and you have your daily tasks that you're working toward. At the end of the week, you pull the team together, you have status, and you're talking about how you did toward your weekly goals, and you can make adjustments from there and reevaluate what the next goals are going to be. Another thing that was big for us was staying flexible. Highly recommend staying flexible. Things can and will change. Unexpected can and will happen, and scope will creep. There will be issues. There'll be blockers. There'll be escalations. We had a few of those. Not fun, but you work your way through them. It's going to be tough decisions that you're going to have to make, compromises that you're going to have to make. So be flexible and open-minded about everything. Be realistic. Know that these things are going to happen, and be ready for that. Be mentally ready for that. Have the whole team mentally ready for that. Have the right mindset. When new things are coming at you, weigh those things against the plan that you already have in place. Some of those new things are going to be so important that you're going to want to adjust your broader plan, and pull them into the project. Things that you might have overlooked. Most of the stuff that's coming in along the way, it's probably going to just introduce risk. That's fine. Save it for something after your MVP, after you've executed on your first outcome. You can always iterate. Two more things that I want to touch upon here real quick. Communicating and listening. Change management, we found, was a huge thing. What we learned was that we could have done it a lot better. And we've actually got a project going on right now where I feel like we are doing it a lot better. Another AEM project, and I'll get into that in a moment. But many people are impacted here from a migration like this. Your customers and internally, keep everybody well informed and keep them informed well in advance. For example, you've got perhaps product managers that are reviewing the content and things are going to be changing for them as well. Listen closely also to what people are saying. Don't just communicate to them, but actually intake and get information from them. They may be able to identify issues or gaps that you overlooked. And we even had this happen. They can come up with solutions that you didn't think of. And when you're listening and communicating well, you're building up a group of strong supporters that will help you in your journey, and you're going to end up with better results. Last thing, expect the best. This lots at stake with a project like this, a CCMS migration. You need everybody for the time that they're committed. You need their full commitment and their full dedication, their full engagement. Encourage the team that this is an opportunity for growth for them. There's a lot to do, but there's also a lot to learn. They're going to benefit from it as well. Leaders for a project like this, encourage the team, like I'd mentioned, give them lots of support, be thankful for them. We even did, toward the end when things were getting heavy and the hours longer, we started doing weekly lunches for the project team, which was great and brought everybody together and connected the team even better. Greater sense of team. So bottom line is everybody needs to help everybody else out, and the reward itself of accomplishing your outcome is tremendous and well worth it.
Great. So wrapping things up, before we close the session, would you mind sharing a glimpse into the future? What is next on our journey with Adobe Experience Manager Guides?
Yeah, this is super excited about this as well. Next week, in fact, we are going live with what we call consolidated release notes. What we've done here is we've used AEM to pull 8 or 10 different various types of release notes together into one central location. We actually use content fragments in this case. It's wonderful because our customers will be able to go and see all of the release notes from that central landing page. We had a similar problem where it was scattered in different locations. It was hard for customers to find the information they needed. A lot of hunting and pecking around. What's also cool about it is that for a given feature, we can consolidate everything into a single spot. So there's different types of release notes for a single feature. Once they click into it, it's all in that single location as well. Another thing that we are doing with AEM, we are using a user profile. We're enabling that on our site as well. We've got our Workday community site that already uses user profiles. By doing that, and it's great flexibility with these products, right? By pulling that in, our customers, when we deliver those consolidated release notes, will be able to give them notifications and alerts about what's going on. And we have more stuff lined up for the future.
Great. Sounds very exciting. So that's it, folks. Thank you very much. We hope you found this conversation useful, and we're going to open it up for the Q&A session now. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody, for your time. Yep, appreciate it.